social slime, they don't matter, genocide. Sick from water, sick from air, making money, they don't care. Caesar shit, force of air, fuck them back, it's only for they bomb. They shoot, they kill, they massacre, rape, they burn the kids. No one makes countries lie to your face, fight and die, cause God forgives. Selling lies and buying time, killing people next in line. Lower classes, social slide, they don't matter, genocide. Sick from water, sick from air, making money, they don't care. See their shit, force a bear, fuck them back, that's only fair. They bomb, they shoot, they kill, they massacre, rape, they burn the kids. No one makes countries lie to your face, fight and die, cause God forgives. Yeah. Coming back around again.
Thursday, the 24th of September, 2015. I'm your host, Ron Stevens, and I just got my seatbelt on here, and I guess I need one. They keep changing rules so fast that I don't want to take a chance. So being the host of the show, I guess that makes me in the driver's seat, and it is seatbelt week here in Ontario, Canada. So with our good-hearted community police, who knows, going to come up your laneway and look in your window to see if you got your seatbelt on. So I feel pretty secure now. I shouldn't get a ticket before the end of the show. So that's where we're at. Anyways, I don't know. Maybe I should change it to Bizarro World, the show. But no, Game On's good because it is Game On. And it's a game, and we're in the bottom of the ninth, I suppose, and we're going to have to kick it from here on in. And they're trying to make it as easy as possible for us, yeah? I mean, they're going out of their way. Even the dumbest of the dumb have got to be scratching their heads at this. I'm sure there's people out there, don't question the Pope, he knows. Yeah, he knows. But apparently a lot of people still don't know what this guy's up to. Now, my friend Mark is down from Sudbury, got here last night, and nice to see him. Great guy. And so we went up to the corner store there to get a coffee this afternoon. And was that People magazine with the Pope on there with that kind of laughy smile on his face? I think it might have been People. Yeah. He looks giddy, doesn't he? You know, like we're going to push this through, and these people ain't going to get it. Well, most people have to be getting it by now. They have to be, or at least enough people. So when I was checking my email today, I got a notice that apparently Obama did an interview with Rolling Stone. I don't know why anybody would read any rag that has been in business for any length of time. The only magazine that I actually know of that hasn't been bought up, corrupted, is and I don't remember the name of it. It's a magazine from Arkansas, I believe. A Mopar magazine, and it's an independent magazine, and these guys say that every year somebody shows up with a basket of money, or a briefcase full of money, suitcase full of money, offering to buy out the magazine. That particular magazine has written some brilliant, not like Rolling Stone, has written some brilliant pieces on Agenda 21 and the climate change question. Brilliant stuff. Not stuff that I ever expected to see in a Mopar magazine. But I did go to a Mopar Fest that the owners of the magazine were at, and they're not selling out, and that's a good thing. But people that read Rolling Stone still today and think that they're getting any useful information. Why didn't Rolling Stone just put Pope's smiley little face on it? Maybe they'll get it then, or maybe they won't. But anyways, there was of Obama, and after seeing that video and reading some of the interview from Rolling Stone, I don't know what else I can tell the American people. Vote for Obama. Now, I know he's not supposed to get in again because he's already done 2 terms, but this gentleman, I'm going to use that term loosely, but the gentleman is the present president of the United States of corporation commercial business, the CEO of the company, the great company, the United States of America, is so concerned for the futures of the children and the population of the planet in general. And he so wants climate change to be tackled. It really messes him up. He's so sincere, so very, very sincere. And we should listen to the man. The way that Congress, or maybe the Pope's here now, maybe we can get a global consensus on it, and overturn the term limits in the United States, so that Mr. Obama can do a 3rd term. Because I don't know if there's anyone other than Mr. Obama and his male friend Michelle. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. Oops. who is capable of saving the people, the economy of America and the world in general. We have a guy like Trump who's just a capitalist, and why anybody even gives that clown any airtime, I guess, except to watch the wind flip his hair around on his head, and a sideshow kind of thing. But that sideshow takes away from the integrity of the present president, and it cheapens the whole idea of politics, don't you think? So I don't see anyone else with the fortitude and the depth and the committed man Mr. Obama is, that if he doesn't get a 3rd term in America, the only solution I can see to save the planet is to make Mr. Obama possibly the global chief, the global presidente. Maybe that's what it's going to take. Obama's done everything in his power from the local level of the United States, but there's a big world out there, and this is a global problem, and we do need a committed global leader. So maybe that's a possibility. If he can't do a 3rd term, maybe we make him global presidente. That hurt me to say that, but I deeply believe he's the guy. And maybe the Pope should be the global administrator with Obama as his vice, maybe. I don't know. They seem to get along very, very well. And we can shed this idea that global warming, climate change is not real. We can't go there any longer. Global warming is so real, and these guys work so hard to try to convince us that we have an obligation to do everything we can to help them, the leaders, tackle this, as they describe it, war, this global war on climate change. So I'm wishing Mr. Obama and Pope Francis all the best while Francis is in town, and hopefully through the many events that are planned and the big events that are planned in New York, maybe we can bring all the people together on the planet as we move towards the Paris conference, and we can finally nail it down and get on with what needs to be done. The following message has been a complete spoof, and I hope somebody understood that. Don't you just want to smack these guys? I mean, don't you just want to grab them by the scruff and set them down in front of you and say, like, are you daft? But I want to read a little bit about from the interview, and I'm going to post the short video in here because I'm certain that once you watch, excuse me, I think my seatbelt's too tight, folks. But once you watch it, you will come to the same conclusion I think that Rolling Stone wanted you to come to. And one of the important things here is that in the interview, and this was Jeff Goodell, Rolling Stone's editor. I don't know. Does Rolling Stone, when you buy Rolling Stone, does it come with a little, clothespin attached, like, stuck to the front page on the outside of it? So before you start reading the Rolling Stone, you can put the pin on your nose so the stink that's inside of it doesn't irritate you. Maybe. Let me see here. Where is what I'm looking for here? This is the sentence here. What Goodell wants to know on behalf of Rolling Stone readers is how the president decides how much truth to tell the American public about climate change and how much he feels it his job to inspire people and how much he withholds some of the truth, because if they really knew what they were really facing, it would be too much for them to bear. Obama says, I do what I can do in his statesman-like mode, but what I don't want anyone to do is get paralyzed by the magnitude of the thing. Part of my job is to read stuff that terrifies me all the time, replies the president. Well, I like a man who can tell the truth, and it's obvious that Mr. Obama is telling the truth. If you know how to read a sentence. And the question is, how do you decide how much truth to tell the American public about climate change and how much he feels it is his job to inspire people, yada, yada, and how much he withholds some of the truth because if they knew what we were really facing, it would be too much for them to bear. I do what I can do, says Obama. Well, that's true. You can't tell them the truth. And that's true. You can't tell them the truth, Mr. Obama, because you say what you don't want to do is have anyone get paralyzed by the magnitude of the thing. And what he's referring there to is the scam that has been driven into the minds of the people globally. I do what I can do. I don't want to get people get paralyzed by the magnitude of the thing. What is this thing? Is it climate change? No, it's climate change is just one of the mechanisms that they use among a whole bunch of other mechanisms to control and enslave people. So when he says he does what he can do, but doesn't want people to get paralyzed by the magnitude of the thing, and the paralyzation would come from the realization of the people that they've been lied to since the day they were born. Period. And the entire idea that this government is the government for the people, by the people, is a sham. The idea that the government is actually a government concerned about the well-being of the people, who pay the wages, by the way, for these criminals, and pay for everything, the wars, the roads, the canals, everything. And that you have been used and abused your entire lives. That's when he's not referring to climate change there when he's talking about the truth. He's referring about the magnitude of it, if people understood it. So in that sense, he's being extremely truthful. So these people, and that's why I, when offered a job in politics, I turned it down, and the reason was I don't have the capacity that Mr. Obama and the Pope and the rest of these clowns have. I cannot give you a sincere smile and lie to you at the same time, but these psychopathic sociopaths can. I mean, Ted Bundy, there's a classic example. There's been other examples throughout history, of course, but Ted Bundy is a good example because he was a very affable young man, decent-looking guy, and who would have thunk? You know, he would help people, and he smiled at people, and he always seemed so concerned for people, and yada, yada, yada. Great guy. A man that could smile at you and lure you into a position that you didn't know you were going to because you trusted. And the legal system, if you look at it, is basically a psychopathic, sociopathic setup. Because a psychopath and a sociopath, these people don't have any moral fiber. They're amoral, just like the legal system that they created. They don't see right and wrong. Okay? They see a goal and they see a game plan, and they do whatever it is they want to do to get there. And if it means smiling at people while they're lying to them, fine. If it means dropping bombs on innocent people all over the globe, fine. And that's what they do. So what you have here with the Pope's visit and Obama and that is you have a classic case of some very happy psychopathic sociopaths running around. And that should concern everybody. Whether it does or not, I don't know. Obama, yeah. What we going to Obama today? We have the Syrian crisis and that. Now, speaking of the Syrian crisis, and I'm not a big fan of this woman, she is I don't think she's legit, but regardless, if you look up Syrian girl and the Syrian migration, you will probably get to a video that she's in. And, of course, it's on RT, which is green letters. And, there was a time there when I guess a lot of people still do, that you can trust RT more than the American mainstream. Like, give me a break. It's all propaganda. But anyways, that video, she did make some good points. And one of the points was that an awful of those from sub-Saharan Africa and those from the Arab countries who, after the bombing of Iraq and Afghanistan and that, moved into Syria. And now they're kicking the snot out of Syria, and those same people that were displaced from the other countries are now trying to get the hell out of there. A lot of these people don't even have any identification. And so these migrants that are flooding into the Eastern European or Western European countries are not likely Syrian. Okay, and they get to the border and they don't have any paperwork. Just a second here, I got a call. That would be good. Let's see what's cooking here. Yeah. Caller?
Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah.
I can so.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. It's Chuck, right?
Chuck?
Yeah.
And whereabouts Chuck from?
Who is this speaking?
It's Ron Stevens. Who are you trying to call into UCY?
Yeah, I'm trying to call Chuck Rocelli. I didn't know how I got you. Yeah. I'm supposed to have a show with Chuck. Yeah. Okay.
I'm doing Game On here from 7 to 8 today.
Really?
What's on your mind? What we got you on the line there, Chuck?
So, this Chuck Rocelli, right?
Huh? No, this is Game On.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry. I'm trying to get a hold of Chuck Rocelli. I've got a show with him at 5 o'clock my time, Pacific Standard, and I've got a.
Okay. That would be at 8 o'clock Eastern.
Right. Well, no. What I'm saying is, I've got a rescue going on. You can probably hear the jet engine going on. In the background, hear it. Okay. I need to let Chuck know that he can't talk for a while.
What's going on?
Oh, somebody's having a heart attack right in front of us.
Oh, all right. So, well, you go deal with that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let him know
cool.
that. Okay. Thanks.
Okay. Be cool.
All right.
Well, I hope everything's going on right down there, and I hope they get to help whoever is having this heart attack. So I do. Now, where was I? Yes, the Syrian migration. So what they're doing is that they're and this ties in with the Pope as well, believe it or not, because these people, a lot of these people have no identification. So they're saying that they're coming out of, they're Syrians because they're coming out of Syria, and they need refuge somewhere. And so they're being sent all over the place with no identification. They're just being claimed as Syrians. And so you don't know who's coming to your country. And that could turn out to be a problem. But the Pope put out a thing that, where did I see that? He called the migrants, or he asked, I don't see the exact quote here, but it's going to be close enough. I'm just looking for this. I'm not going to find it, but basically what he's saying is that he wants the world, and he asks people to reject the mindset of hostility towards immigrants, because basically everybody in the West is an immigrant. And but he goes on, and in another statement, he calls the people who are migrating, he asks the countries to welcome the strangers. All right? Now, what exactly is a stranger? A stranger is someone who is not trapped or bound by the laws of a civil society. Okay? They don't have any legal identification, which is their citizenship. And if you go back to the King James Bible, it says that you should embrace the stranger and feed the stranger, and so on and so forth. So he's playing off of that, although he's the opposite side of it. And this is the manipulation that's used in the language in that all the time. So, you know, when we were looking at getting rid of our citizenships, and that makes you an alien, right? But it also makes you a stranger. And when you look up stranger, that is someone without the citizenship. That's someone without the legal identity. That's someone who is not bound to the rules and regulations of that particular civil society. So I don't know what the hell they're trying to play here, but if you get an influx of, I think Obama wanted to bring in 100,000 of these migrants, and according to the Syrian girl, and I guess I said watch that with an open set of eyes, because American, right? Blaming the Syrian war and everything bad that's ever happened on the planet against America. Well, it's not the American people that are doing this. Okay, it's the corporate leadership that's doing it. So be wary of the Syrian girl. But she did bring up some good points about what is a Syrian and what isn't a Syrian. So Pope Francis tells us to embrace the stranger, which are aliens, and basically are outside of civil law. So I know they're trying to break down the law system as it stands today in order that they can fully implement international law. And so, we have this big call out for Sharia law and that. So we have to be very careful about what's being said and understand what's being said and what context it's being said in. So here we have Pope Francis slams capitalism, death penalty, immigration law, but no real mention of abortion or gay marriage, because the whole idea is to destroy the society. So it is. And so we've got a lot of messages flying around in the country right now, and trying to get people to accept an awful lot of alien strangers without any proper documentation. And you're just supposed to open your arms and believe that all of these migrants are actually Syrians. According to the Syrian girl, the Syrians don't want to migrate. They just want their damn country back. That's their country. Get our country and quit bombing us. Let us get back to our lives. So, and then I saw another article today somewhere that the United Nations has failed in its job to stop wars and come to the aid of those who are displaced by war. Well, they didn't fail. It's planned that way. Absolutely planned that way. Just a whole bunch more of calculated chaos so they can get the order that they want. And why would we or anybody else accept anyone else's order? I mean, why would we do that? Who built these countries? And when I say that, I spend some time with native groups online, and it's a very dicey game, and this is all part of the chaos. Well, these were our lands. You stole them. and built all your stuff here. I didn't steal anything. Okay? My forefathers didn't steal anything. My forefathers were conned just as the native chiefs were conned. And it just happened to be the Jesuits that were the front line coming in here. And it just happens to be a Jesuit, the white robes of the Pope right now. So you can put all that stuff together. It's been a long haul. And so, like I said before, we have to make sure that we do not get. We've been separated for a long, long time. The Native Americans have been separated from the general public on reserves and whatnot. They weren't allowed to properly integrate if they wanted to. And the black people who were brought here under slavery have been separated, which means that the white people have also been separated and constantly playing one against the other throughout the decades and the centuries, really. And that has to stop, okay? If you want to look at those three main groups of people, and those are the three main groups of people, and there's other groups, but those I'll just stick with those because that's the majority of the groups. And you know, if you look at those as a triangle, and then you look at the other triangle, Washington, D.C., the Vatican, and London City, okay, which is the real globalist terrorist group of which all bad things come from. The legal system came from there, the religious system came from there, and the military system came out of that triangle. And if we look at the other triangle that they've kept separated so long, and that's the original peoples of these lands, the natives, and the black folks who are here not by their wishes, but are here nonetheless, and can't go home. They are Americans. This is where they were born, except for the original people that came over. So where they were brought over on slave ships, the Europeans were conned into coming over here with land grants and land, which they believe gave them title to land. Never did. Okay, they had title to property. That's what the land grant is. The land grant goes back to the feudal system, and that the king gives you a package of rights or a bundle of rights of which you can have use of the land, but you don't own it. So they drove the native people off what was their land, conned the Europeans into coming over here under the idea it was their land, and the black people over here to work for those and improve the lands, all of it a big scam. Every one of them got scammed. The native people got scammed, the white man got scammed, so did the black man. And if we're going to put this back together, we're all going to have to play in the same damn sandbox and get along. Because if we don't join our triangle, their triangle is going to whoop us. And we bring the people back together, we will kick their butts instead of fighting amongst each other. You know, I worked with some native people up in northern Alberta when I was quite young. And, you know, I was taught from the earliest age that native people were savages and drunken and good for nothings. And I'm thinking, you know, how did these people get along? How did they survive? If they're all bone lazy and they don't want to work and they're all alcoholics and they're all savages, then how did there get to be so many of them? When they killed each other off or died off from laziness, or what? And it really bugged me when I was a kid. How the Jesuit priests came in and turned them into Christians. Well, there ain't nothing Christian about a Jesuit. Okay, they use that as a tool. These people are they're nasty, they're deceitful. And so what we end up with is the people, and I know when I read back in history, the early settlers weren't really having a big hard time with the natives. Okay, that got stewed up by the controllers. Okay, people generally don't have problems with other people. People generally respect each other until something happens to turn them against each other. And this is what's been going on forever. So we need to build our triangle, a moral triangle, if you will, versus the amoral triangle. And the moral triangle will snuff the amoral triangle every time. We have to take away from them their ability to keep us separated. And I've said this before. You look up the root of the word democracy, you come up with demotech, or demonic, I suppose. And the idea of that is to keep the commoners, that would be you and I, separated, fighting amongst each other, while they rule over us. And that has to change. Now, I still have people in the family who think that all natives are exactly what was described to me when I was very young. And it really irritates me. I have other family members who would drop a joke they heard at work. And I don't remember what the terminology was. But it was people from Iraq and Iran and Afghanistan and that. Very derogatory terminology. And this is the same kind of terminology that was taught to be thrown against the black people. And the amount of ignorance that I see, it really bothers me. It really bothers me. Personally, I'm of the attitude I can get along with anybody. And to date I have, and I intend to continue to do so. I have no right to label anybody anything, unless it's obvious, i.e. the Pope and Obama and politicians in general, and the lies and deceit that they ply against us. That's a whole different ballgame. But to generally take a whole group of people and go after them with no knowledge. The natives I worked with up in northern Alberta, the one gentleman, I still remember his name, it was John, and we called him Big John because he was a big man. And he was running a cat. His wife was a school teacher. And super, super nice people, hardworking. But always with that pressure on them, right? I don't think you have ever had a Native American get anywhere near standing up for President of the United States or the Prime Minister of Canada or the Prime Minister of Australia. Our government, so-called government up here in Canada, I mean, I look at the legislature now, I don't even know what country it's supposed to be. Okay, we got Chinese and Japanese and people from the Arab countries and Pakistan and India. Going, what is this? Well, see, it's multiculturalism. Well, now you have all these different factions wanting what they want to not help the people of the country, but to help their particular people, and how to bring more of their people in and put more of their people in positions of power in the bureaucracy or in the political system. In other words, you're waving goodbye to what you thought was your country. Now, I don't know how pervasive it is down stateside, but it is really pervasive up here. And we needed to put that into check, too. So, let's see. The Pope's going to get out of here on the 27th, which is the blood moon, I believe, and the eclipse. And this is the big drive. And these are all pagans, right? They're all pagans. This is the same, these people are earth worshipers. And they see you, somehow they see themselves different as you. They see themselves as man with dominion and you as the animals, which are overrunning the world, and they got to be called off. And they picked the mechanism way back in, way back, not later than the late 50s, because the first clip about global warming that I ever saw came out of see, Mark is good at this stuff. I'm yammering away here, and he gives me notes. And when I was talking about bombing, he's got old bomb and I'm talking about pagans. Propaganda. I don't know. I'm probably not saying that the way you want.
Pagan.
Yeah.
Pro-pagan.
Yeah. And so it's yeah. These guys are the earth worshipers, and they want you to worship Earth, and they want you to worship the creation, not the Creator, and therefore they will get control over it. And God help us if they get control over everything. And we're still breathing here. That's a good sign. They don't want us breathing because we exhale CO2, and that was the evil gas that they have to stop. And they start off with a 20% reduction and then a 50% reduction. And I remember Gates yammering away at one of these TED Talks, which I don't encourage people, unless they really understand language, to pay too much attention to. But Gates there talking about 80%, and then finally saying, what we really need is 100% reduction in CO2. Well, that means that this is dead. It's a dead planet. Because everything with no CO2 will die. And then you have not the beautiful blue planet, but you have a black, lifeless rock floating around. And that's what these guys are talking about. I mean, they're out of their frickin' minds. But because they're amoral, they don't see any right or wrong in this. They don't see where it's wrong. I watched an interview with somebody who's in the medical field. She was a nurse. And the interviewer asked her, how many vaccines or how many needles does a child get by the age of 1? The age of 1. It was over 30. That's crackers. But these people are amoral. And then they tell you you can't put your child into school, right? Unless you let us have our way with your child. And your child can't come to school unless you bow down. And then if your child doesn't get an education, then it's your fault that your kid's living on the street. So here, take the vaccines. And the parents go, what do we do? What do we do? Well, we don't want our child living on the street. And they say the vaccines are good for them. And they seem to know, they're the scientists. And so people submit to this nonsense. and allow all this harm to come to their own children. And that's really sad. It's really sad. So we need to step up to the plate and understand that what we're looking at is we're looking at ugly, really ugly. We are looking at supreme evil. And we need to, we really need to get in gear here. These clowns are going to go to Paris. And when is Paris? November? Or I can't remember. When is it? November 27th is the Paris conference. So, I mean, they're just going to continue to ramp this crap up until then, and then they're going to sit down and they're going to say, there, we've come to an agreement in order to save the planet. And then we will really have to push back. But, you know, as long as there's one of us standing, then we need to push back. And we can't wait for the superhero to come and save us, because that ain't going to happen. So there's no shortage of evidence, you know. I got people whining about chemtrails, you know, and fluoride and nuclear waste and, you know, GMO foods and on and on and on and on and on, pharmaceuticals, vaccines, and it's all poison. So these people that care so much about the planet, who are poisoning everything on the planet so we can't survive, are telling us that they've come into a consensus on how to save the world. I don't think we want any more of their medicine, do we? You know, I said one time, you know, look what they've done to date. And can you imagine if we just hand over to them what they ultimately want? What the outcome's going to be? You know, and even to make it worse, I see now that they're bringing back the Muppets for adults. And I thought that very odd, not odd, sickening really, because that's what they reduced to most adults now. Like I said before, they keep them in a childlike state. You know, I have people say, oh, did you see The Simpsons or Family, what's it called, Family Guy or something? Cartoons. And like you're 35, 45, 50 years old. Why are you, It reminds me of that scene from Back to the Future. You know, Marty comes out for breakfast or whatever, and he looks at his family, and they're mutton heads. The whole damn works of them, drinking Coca-Cola at breakfast, or whatever they were drinking. You know, there's a TV running in the kitchen. And instead of talking to each other, they're staring at the friggin' TV. The old man's slapping his, And Marty looks at his family and goes, oh my God. And this is what they've done to the average family. That's what they've turned them into. And now they got them watching Muppets for adults. Why? Because the adults now watch Muppets when they were kids. So they can relate to the Muppets. But now this is adult Muppets. And people will watch that. You know? And it's all propaganda, and they're telling you exactly what they're doing in these cartoon shows and that. But the people watching it don't get it. Because from a very earliest age, they were told they were being entertained. And all the propaganda that was shoved down their throat is now being revamped into adult cartoon time. And then people watch that. So the powers that be are quite convinced that they've got us exactly where they want us. And a Jesuit Pope can come in and make a speech at Congress, and all of these evildoers, if you will, in Congress are all so impressed that the Pope is on board with climate change now. Maybe now we can come to the global solution, and the global solution is the final frontier, if you will, where they do the big call. Now they say they don't want to come out and just wipe us all out, that they want to wipe us out through Planned Parenthood and vaccines and poison food and poison air and poison water, and get as many Bruce Jenners as we can running around, to start sex education at grade 1, to teach the children that the last thing they want to be is a mom or a dad. That's no good at all. There's other things that are better for them in that sphere. So I feel bad for the children now, because for most parents, most parents are gone. They're mentally gone. They're putty in the hands of these clowns. I'm sure tonight there's people sitting staring at TVs all over the world, watching what the Pope's got to say, watching what Obama's got to say, and sitting, looking on the edge of their chairs. We're gonna be saved from climate change. We're gonna be saved. Oh, isn't that wonderful, Martha? We're gonna be changed. We're gonna be saved from climate change. Wrong. If a bunch of people who are liars and deceivers and thieves are telling you that they somehow have the capacity to take the global weather and manipulate it to our favor, so that within 100 years they can do a job that will guarantee that the temperature will not rise by 2 degrees, signaling absolutely no turn back, global catastrophe. And believe these people? Then you need to go and turn on your TV in your kitchen, put on Honeymooners or whatever they were watching, get a can of Coke and a piece of pizza for breakfast, and laugh and slap your leg, because you're gone. You're gone. Now, maybe a lot of people don't like to hear that, but I mean, I keep saying, if you want to know whose fault this is, go look in the freaking mirror. Go look in the mirror. Everything that bad's ever come our way has been our fault, because we allowed ourselves to be deceived and flattered and conned. We believed the lies. Time to put all that aside. It's over. Okay, it's over. I see it says here, leaves the native black Latinos behind for Pope Francis. I don't know what that means, but anyways, that part's not important. The fact is that hopefully by the end of this week, or by the 27th when the Pope departs, that people have really understood what these guys are up to. And these guys are so off the wall now that I don't know how anybody could not see through this farce. Unless, of course, they're sitting down and watching adult Muppets, and I'm sure they'll have something in there about Obama and the Pope or whatever, if it's even on the air yet. But it'll filter its way through the propaganda known as media. And some of the media will make fun of what went on, and some will denounce what went on. But it's all a propaganda machine. Okay? Because now when you have your opinions in that, your opinions are formed not from serious knowledge, but from stuff that has been fed to you. So they're really not your opinions at all. Okay? You're formulating an opinion on something else that was sent to you. So it's the propaganda is made for, regardless of what kind of mindset you have, be it a kind of a right thinking or a left thinking mindset. The propaganda is formulated for all of you. And a lot of people won't watch this show. Oh, that's one of them right-wing shows, or that's one of them left-wing pinky shows, or pinko shows. Well, it's all designed for you, folks. You know, you come into their propaganda restaurant, and they want their guests to leave happy. They know what to feed you to make you happy. They know what to feed you, and you eat it up.
Right wing, left wing, same bird.
And, yeah, would you like chicken tonight? We have a chicken special tonight. We have right-wing chicken and left-wing chicken. It's a bird, and it's got 2 wings. While the chicken can't really fly, they do walk around, and whether the bird's flying or walking or coming out of the roasting pan, there's 2 sides to the bird, and it is cooked up for your benefit, regardless if you like the right side of the bird or the left side of the bird. And we gotta come to grips with that. So I hope nobody took seriously that I was actually proposing that Obama was given a 3rd term or became the global presidente. I'm just so frickin' disgusted with media in general right now. I couldn't help myself. But it's the way it is. So I hear music. Sunday, Mark still show because he made a movie. We didn't make it. He was an actor.
Selling lies and buying time, killing people next in line. Lower
Anyways, I want to thank everybody listening. I want to thank Jules,
making money, they don't care. Caesar shit, force them fuck them back, it's only for they bomb. They shoot, they kill, they master, come back.